Have you ever purchased a designer bag and later lived to regret it? Because I know I have. After 10 years of collecting designer bags, everything from more affordable contemporary brands to the mega brands like Chanel and Hermes, I've seen it all. And now I'm going to share with you the bags that I wouldn't repurchase and why, if they had flaws with them, or which bags I prefer as alternatives. Hopefully saving you from making the same costly mistakes that I have. The first bag is not only slightly controversial, but it's a bag that I made the mistake on not once, not twice, but 3 times. Now I no longer have it in my collection. I tried so hard to make this bag work for me and it just didn't, although I know it's some people's absolute go-to. This is the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis. I had this in the normal canvas, I had it in the reverse canvas, and I also had one in this beautiful rose pink colour in the empreinte leather. The Pochette Metis. It was super popular, I would say maybe 3-4 years ago now, but I know there are plenty of people that still swear by this bag. It's a great crossbody bag, but I literally barely ever reached for mine when I had them. The one that I wore the most was the reverse canvas, but again, it was very minimal when I did use it. The reason for this is I found carrying the items that I would want to of a day wouldn't fit inside the Pochette Metis. It has so many compartments inside of the bag that everything you take with you has to be of a certain width or depth, if you will, for it to actually fit in the bag. So this is something that I've learned about myself, and I have since started to remedy this situation with different bags. So for example, a bag that I would recommend over the Pochette Metis is actually the Lock Me Ever. This is the mini size. This is in the Gauche colorway, with the gold hardware. She's beautiful. It also comes with this really gorgeous strap, and I think it is slightly more expensive than the Pochette Metis now, but not a whole lot more. And the reason I recommend this, look at this, we have it big flap closure that's super easy to open. Closing it as well is really easy, just putting it on there and turning the lock. The Pochette Metis can be a little bit more fiddly. And then we have one big, so I have got a liner inside of here, but we have one big compartment inside of the bag. We also have a little pocket on the back of this one as well. But this means that I can just fit items that are slightly bulkier into this bag, but it's a very similar size than the Pochette Metis. So again, I know this is such a loved bag, but genuinely, I think there are better and even more improved from a user-friendly point of view bags from the brand, like the Lock Me Ever. So after 3 failed attempts with the Pochette Metis, I will not be repurchasing this bag ever again. The second designer bag that I will not be repurchasing again is one that I do currently have in my collection. It is a bag that I had on my wish list for a few years before I actually purchased one. I thought the perfect one came along for me and I bought it, but I wouldn't buy it again. Can you guess which bag it is? It is my Christian Dior book tote bag. Now the book tote bag again had a moment in the spotlight a few years ago. Everyone was buying one and it definitely doesn't seem to have the same popularity at the minute. Mine is the newer small size, so the smaller one, and this one is in the limited edition Jardin print with like the beautiful flowers. Oh my gosh, can you see the bird? I did not get this personalized. I could have done, but I didn't want to, just in case I did ever sell it one day. This gorgeous little bird on the side and the roses. Okay, so yeah, this was my perfect Dior book tote bag. I love the size of it and I love the print. I did know before I purchased this that there were some downsides to the book tote bag, and I went ahead anyway. Do I regret that? I don't know. I think regret might be a strong word if I'm being honest, but I definitely wouldn't buy one again. They do now come, I think some of them have like longer straps so you can crossbody them. Still wouldn't buy one. Still would not buy one, definitely not. The reason is this size, especially being small, it's just open. You can just see straight in the bag. If this tips over, everything's falling out. Everything's falling out of her. I did take this with me on a day in London. It was just big enough, and honestly, I just had stuff kind of like spilling out the top of the bag, and I think that's possibly put me off using this bag. I do think it's easy to style, like it actually goes with a lot of outfits, even though this has quite a few colours embroidered into the fabric, but the book tote is a no for me. I think there are now much better tote bags on the market. More quiet luxury as well. Obviously we have the big logo on the front here. If I were to buy another tote bag of a similar size, I would probably go for something that feels a little bit cooler, feels a little bit different. And a bag that I currently do have a crush on is the Bottega Veneta parachute bag. And I do think it's a shame that more brands don't do this level of embroidery and detail, because I think it's incredibly beautiful. I would love to see this on a different bag from Dior, but I find a lot of Dior bags, again, aren't the most user-friendly. So the Dior book tote bag is a no from me, but I'm quite glad that I've got this one. This third bag that I will never repurchase. Never's a strong word, but as of right now, there's been no interest from me in this bag ever since I got mine. And this is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull tote bag. I have mine in the MM size with the roses on. The only reason that I still have this bag in my collection is because it's the limited edition version of the bag. This is my favorite ever print from the Steven Sprouse collaboration, which was from 2014, I believe, or 2011. I think it's 2014. And the Neverfull was my favourite. I don't use this bag a whole lot. We are seeing a bit of a resurgence with the Neverfull right now because Louis Vuitton have just released the new inside out where you can like turn it round. You can have the leather side or the canvas side. I do think they're quite cute. This is like a good tote bag. I will say that you can fit a lot inside. But again, I just think there are much cooler options on the market right now if you aren't so bothered about having the Louis Vuitton logo. Again, for me, it would be the Bottega Andiamo or the parachute bag. It would be maybe a piece from Loewe, like the flamenco bag. I adore this in the extra large size, the way that it like scrunches up with the leather. I would personally prefer to buy an all leather tote bag as opposed to a canvas piece like this. And yeah, it's just a very simple bag. I personally would go for something a little bit more low-key in terms of the logo, but a little bit more detailed in terms of how it's made. The fourth bag that I would not buy again, and this is actually to do with I've not like a fault with the bag, but an issue that I see with this bag constantly. And it is the Rive Gauche tote from Saint Laurent. I have mine in the sea salt colorway, which I adore. It is a really great beach style bag, and I'll be honest, there aren't many other brands I think that do a really nice tote like this that looks so perfect if you're just heading down to the pool on your beach holiday. This looks great, I will say that. They put a bit of thought into this in terms of we've got a zipper compartment along the back and then we have these poppers along the top, so you can actually kind of close the bag. So if it does tip over, everything's not going to fall out. I really love that detail. The issue for me with this bag is if you've seen one of these where someone has truly loved this bag, they look absolutely awful. Just the fabric, like, so the canvas on the side, I take quite good care of mine, but it folds all kind of weird and it just looks not great after a long period of time, I find, on other people's bags. And this part here, I don't know, let me try and show you. These parts stick out on the bag and they actually come, let me show you like this, they actually come lower than the bottom of the bag. So what happens is when you store this bag, these sections along the bottom start to splay out like this. And again, it just kind of adds to this bag looking not very good if you do want to use it as a bit of a workhorse bag on a regular occasion, kind of want to throw it around. You have to be a lot carefuler with this bag. So as much as I like this, I do believe that I am going to be selling mine just because I don't use it that much. And for those reasons that I know if I were to use this a lot more, it's probably not going to stand the test of time so well, and I would prefer to invest in something that might be a bit more long lasting when I'm paying this amount of money for a bag. So the Rive Gauche, this is the only one that I have purchased and the only one that I will ever purchase. Ooh, okay, the next one is from a more contemporary, affordable luxury brand, a very popular luxury brand. This is the Polene Numero Neuf. Oh my gosh, she's so soft. I got the shearling one. I remember when this sold out, so I have had this for a while. I barely ever use it, if I'm being totally honest with you. It does have like a longer strap, so you can shoulder it, you can crossbody it, like so. I really like the style of this bag from Polene. I like the way it holds itself. I like the way it kind of dips in at the side. We don't have any feet on the bottom. And oh my gosh, it's just so fluffy. But I will not buy one again. Absolutely not. This bag is a flipping nightmare to get into. I mean, you can't even see inside the bag because this handle is in the way. I don't know which size this is actually. I think there is a bigger one. The bigger one might be easier to get into. You have to find what you want in the bag with your, you know, your senses. You have to feel it. You can kind of see in it, but you have to be able to open it out really wide. It's not actually very big inside of the bag either. So yeah, I wanted to like this bag. Again, look, when it's closed, I love the way that it dips. Maybe the bigger one would be a better option, but after having this one, and I don't regret getting this one, I do think it's a very fun bag. It's one of my favorite ever like shearling bags that I've found, but I just don't use it for that reason. It is a hard, I find, bag to use. There are much easier choices out there. So if you really like the style of this bag, go for it. I did. But in my experience, it's just far too faffy. Will not be buying again. And just to offer an alternative, it is quite different to the Polene, but it's a bag that I added to my collection quite recently. I think they're at similar price points, in fact cheaper. This is the Longchamp Lit Pliage. I got the extra small energy version of the bag. I have Longchamp across the zipper. I love that detail. So it is a very different looking bag. The Polene is definitely a lot more unique, but honestly, you can probably fit the same amount in the Lit Pliage. It's a lot more lightweight. Not that this one's too heavy, but it's so easy to use and get into, and crossbody, adjust, top handle, grab and go. The Numero Neuf, a lot faffier. This has been an absolute win for me, not so much. The sixth bag that I would not buy again. I knew at the time of purchasing this that I probably shouldn't have been buying it. I knew it probably wouldn't work out, and that has been the case, so silly me. But I do love the way that this bag looks. This is the Givenchy Hobo lock bag. This is in the larger size. They also do a mini, but for me, it was always the larger size. And I got this in this beautiful kind of taupe neutral colorway with the gold lock on the front. Now let me comment on something about this bag. This here, this lock, very cool, but it looks, I don't know if it's the like shade of gold. It feels quite weighty as well, but it just looks, I find, quite cheap compared to hardware on other bags. I don't know. And the reason that I don't use this bag, oh my God, let's just put her on. It is a cute style of bag, I'm not gonna lie. I've really wanted to get on with this bag. I do think if I'd have got this in a black, I probably would have worn it, but this color, I just haven't. This is currently stuffed, but let me take this out to show you. This is just one big compartment inside, so it's kind of great in terms of you can just throw loads of things inside of here, but we have no zip compartment, and it doesn't technically kind of close more than that. So a wandering hand could go into the side of the bag and take something out of it. That's been the main reason. I probably would take this with me down to London, but I'm just too nervous that it's just too open and someone could just take whatever they wanted out of my bag and I might not be the wiser for it. So as much as I love and really wanted to get on with this bag, it is one that I won't be repurchasing so long as I'm being sensible. Oh, and an unlikely alternative that I have found when it comes to this bag, in terms of like a grab and go shoulder bag, the Demelier Tokyo bag. This is significantly cheaper. I believe these retail at around £1,800 in the UK, although I did get this in sale. I think it was around £1,000. These, on the other hand, are, I believe, about £400. They come in loads of different really nice colours. So this is the Tokyo, just to show you, versus the Hobo. And I just love the way that this one sits. It's a lot deeper and it does have a zipped compartment inside of the bag along the back. So everything that you need to keep super safe, you can do. And because it's a bit deeper, I would say, than the Hobo bag, as you can kind of see, I actually feel safer putting my stuff in here. But so long as I can put my purse and phone in a zipped compartment, I just feel a whole lot better about that, and you can make a really great saving. The seventh bag that I would not repurchase, I agonized over for so long and really wanted one. I did order one and I had one in my collection for a very small amount of time and realized that this bag is just one that I'm not going to get on with. And this is the Dior Saddle Bag. So I had a vintage one in like a tan caramel color and I was thinking this is just going to be an absolute staple in my collection. But I quickly realized the shape of it is just too awkward, like putting stuff inside. I have since I got rid of it, I was like, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe the Dior Saddle is still for me. I just maybe didn't have the right color. I tried on a bright yellow, which I adore. I know it won't be for everyone. They also had the mini saddle in a bright pink. I came this close to buying it. Honestly, I did. And I didn't. I'm glad that I didn't, because honestly, I think I'd now just have a bag that I would be selling on. But the biggest thing for me about the Dior Saddle is the strap, where you can kind of hold it on the crook of your arm. Great. Maybe you could shoulder it, kind of, maybe not the mini. When you cross body them, that strap doesn't go anywhere. And then it just kind of feels weird. It looks weird. So yeah, the Dior Saddle, there's something about it that I like. I find charming. I find it quite different. But I just think from a design point of view, when it comes to an actual functional bag, there's lots of other much better options than the saddle. Just going for something simple. This is my Celine Teen Triomphe bag in the black leather. Something simple with, you know, a relatively big compartment. I've got the strap in here with a little zipper compartment. You can crossbody it with the strap. It looks great, and we've not got like a weird strap across the top. Personally, I prefer much more simple designs like the Triomphe. And for the 8th, I believe this is the 8th style of bag that I won't repurchase, I'm surprised about, because I have had this style of bag in my collection for quite a few years, and it's taken me this amount of time to realize that I like it, I like the look of it, but maybe it's not the best option for me. It's the Louis Vuitton Onthego bag. I have very recently just sold my version of the bag, and I remember a few years ago I said I would never sell it. Like, I just love the bag. It's very structured. I prefer it over the Neverfull for its structure. I sold the because I just don't reach for it. I do have the PM. This is in the Sunset Pastel colorway. This was a limited edition version of the bag. That's the only reason that this is, again, still in my collection. I do like this bag and I do enjoy using it, but it's kind of similar to the situation with the Dior Book Tote bag. I find with bags of this smaller size that you can just kind of see into them more than I would like anyone to be able to. Like, you can just, and there's no real way. This one does have like a little clasp closure, but it just kind of holds it together so things don't fall out the bag. So this is slightly better than the Book Tote in that sense. But for me, a flap bag is probably always going to win out now over these small style tote bags, because yeah, I've just got all my stuff in here and everyone can see what I've got. I don't like that. I definitely use my Celine 16 a lot more. I mean, very different vibe right now, I know that. But in terms of usability, I can shoulder this, I can crossbody it, I can with this one as well. It does have a longer strap, but the flap closure, the fact you can't see anything inside of the bag is absolute key for me. I feel a lot more secure wearing something like this than this. So my on-the-go days are over. Let me know in the comments, which bags would you not repurchase again and why? I would love to hear from you. But make sure you don't go anywhere, because coming up next, the 11 bags that I've decided to sell from my designer bag collection and why I'm selling them. Enjoy.